This is an update reading for Liam Hemsworth and Miley Cyrus. So, to begin with, in the last reading, I know that I said that he was content to be with her, and because there was a lot of sexual attraction between the two of them. And I do see that this is still the case. And I think that it just needs to be said that obviously when I do these readings, time frame is not something that can be told from the cards. So even if I see a split in the future, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, in a few months. It could be years from now. So I just want that to be said, that obviously, a couple can be happy and stay together for a long time before they would ever break up. Now, what I see is that there's a lot of sexual chemistry between the two of them. I do think that they do truly love each other. So the feelings between them are strong. But they make it hard for each other to get to know each other. And the reason that they make it hard for each other, I do believe that it's on both sides, is that there's insecurities. There's insecurities with both of them. So it makes it difficult for them. But currently what they're doing is they're giving their relationship a chance. They're working very, very hard to keep it together because they do love each other. Okay? So they have a lot of heart-to-heart conversations. They're literally trying to save the relationship. I would even venture to say that they might even go to therapy together. Now, ultimately though, I feel like they both are fighting this sort of desire for freedom, okay? I think it's a little bit different ways for each of them though. Now, it's very, very possible that they could get married and have kids, okay? The potential is there for that. But there's this desire for freedom, okay? Even though they're working very hard to stay together and keep their love alive. For him, it's freedom to do his own thing, freedom to see other women. And remember, in my last reading, I picked up on that he is a little bit of a player type. So, for him to be in a serious relationship, contemplating marriage and children, it's very different for him. And I think, it kind of surprised him that, his feelings do run deep for Miley. So, I think that it's been hard for him to even wrap his head around it, because ultimately I feel like he thinks of himself as a free spirit, more of somebody who wouldn't get tied down so quickly or at such a young age. Now, for Miley, it's a little bit different. For her, it's the freedom to be herself. Because I do feel like when she's with Liam, she feels like she has to a little bit change who she is, or change the way that she acts. She sort of teeters on the edge for him. So it's sort of he let he lets her have a little bit of freedom to be a little bit of like the way she wants to be. But I think ultimately he sort of does try to rein her in. And she goes along with it because she loves him. She wants to do that for him. And she does want to marry him and have kids with him. But it's like the way that they are, it's so different. Especially like the way that like she started to become. That like it's one of those things that it makes it hard for them to like know each other, to like truly know each other, because it's like they're so different, and they may even deep down, even though they have these feelings and they want these things with each other, they may feel deep down that like maybe they're not actually right for each other because they're so different from each other. And I do feel like he's uncomfortable. I know I said this in the last time. He's uncomfortable with her, especially the way that she went like kind of nutty, but especially like the way that she embraces this kind of like hippie slash childlike persona. And I feel like that's part of why sometimes I feel like he wants to free himself, because it's like she's not the type of person that he envisions marrying and having kids with. And I do feel like he kind of sticks around to maybe hope that like she'll go back to the way that she was. And it's very possible that she could, but I just think that like ultimately she doesn't want to be boxed in. She wants to be this like free spirit, this person who like does her own thing, and like, you know, just like with her fashion and the way she dresses, the way she acts and everything. It's like she wants to be this eccentric person, and I don't feel like it's the type of person that he understands, the type of person that he like envisions being with in the long run. Now, what I feel like is exactly what I said the last time. I feel like it's a little bit of a pattern, because they do truly love each other and there's a lot of chemistry. I do feel like it's the reason why it's like this pattern, why it's gonna do this, is because they're each other's first loves. Now, I think that they probably are going to break up eventually because of all these issues that they have. It could be after a serious commitment, but I feel like this sort of thing is just like sort of like a wish or a hope. And a promise. So I think it's sort of like a promise. So when they break up and then they get back together, like the promise is that like I want to marry you, I want to have your children. And so then it's like, oh, I'm so in love again, like I want to be with you so bad, right? Because we're going to get married and have kids. But ultimately then this starts creeping back up. So what I think is that there's going to be a pattern. I don't know how many times this is going to happen, but I think that they'll probably split up and then they'll probably get back together again. It's going to go like that. Now, I think that it is possible that it could lead to marriage and children someday. But I do just think that ultimately she's not gonna ever want to be boxed in and change who she is for him, and he's not gonna want to be with somebody that's eccentric as she is, and he's gonna be. I think that he's also gonna have a sort of a need for freedom to go like sow his wild oats. So unfortunately, I think that they'll probably break up and get back together a couple of times. I think that they probably won't end up together ultimately. I think that though they may at times wish that they were right for each other, because I do feel like they do want to get married and have kids, but it's ultimately like there's just too much insecurities, there's too much desire for these freedoms, and they don't like truly know each other well enough. You know, they're too different is basically what I see. So that's the reading. I'm sorry if it's not what you wanted to hear. I know it's very similar to, you know, my last reading, and I hope that they can grow up and they can make it work. Obviously, I mean, there is a lot of potential there for them, but you know, they'd have to get over these issues for it to work, and for, you know, for a marriage and children to happen. So I say good luck to them, and hope it works out.